Hello, Facebook and YouTube friends. Had a request for a video to talk about different ways that you could increase the potency of your toroidal field or your aura, like we've been talking about in the other video. Um, so I was gonna dive a little deeper, and I call this the top 10 ways that I use to increase my aura and vitality. Um, the first thing I want to cover is breathing, of course. Breathing is the number one thing that's going to control your energy field to start with at the base of everything. Um, and you have different types of breathings, what people may not be aware of. In yoga, we talk about pranayama is the main breathing technique that I use. Is different types of pranayamas. There's different types of ratios of breathing inhalations and exhalation sequences that you can do that will bring about different psychological and mental states and even spiritual states. So breathing is a huge part of keeping your energy field amplified and charged up. um, this chart here that goes from like the red to the blue. Red would be like lower thought vibrations, anger, rage. That's why we think about those energies being red and so on and so forth. Love and peace and harmony would be more on the end of this spectrum here, like going towards the purple, the blue. Those are higher frequencies um, and higher rates of vibration that we could relate to on the color spectrum. So, my number one thing for amplifying my energetic field is pranayama, controlled breathing, and getting the state of mind right for um, good transmutations. And the second thing that's really important is water. Water is the root word of water is watt, right? Wattage, watts. That's why you get baptized in water. Um, Water's always been a sacred element, but it gets really deep in the alchemic sense of what water is, being a three poly element, with H2O. It's so varied. It can be in different phases. It could be steam, it could be water, of course. It could be a vapor. So it has a lot of transmutative powers. It's indicative of how it operates in nature. Um, you can structure water with enchantments. You can write things on jars and that sort of thing, and actually make water be a divination tool to do your energy work. So if you just drink water, if you don't say, like, you can stir it around, for instance, in the ambient air, and mentally project light into the water, give it an intention, give it a purpose, before you just ingest it, and literally the molecular structure in the water will change. This goes into the work of people like Dr. Emoto, who's shown that you can just think about things, and the water will take a different molecular structure when you freeze it, as opposed to if you don't do that. You can put photographs, you can write words, like I was saying, and any type of thing. You have vibrations. You can expose the water to frequencies for long periods of time. Crystal work, which I'll get into a little bit later. Crystals have impacts on water molecular structure and formation with crystalline formations later on. So you'd like to enchant your water, basically give it a purpose before you just throw it down the hatch. Also, you need to be aware of things like alkaline versus acidic water, because batteries are alkaline, and you know our bodies are bioelectric. And this is why eating and consuming alkaline foods. This is going to come in one of my later points a little bit too. I'm kind of touching on it now, but your water should be alkaline, because the pH balance is very important. If you're drinking a neutral pH balanced water, for instance, and if your body's already acidic, then your blood's still going to be acidic. The water is not going to really neutralize that because it's a neutral substance coming into your body that's already highly acidic. So we try to use alkaline water to actually neutralize the acidic nature of our blood content and try to get that blood pH, you know, above 6.5 so that you can keep your RNA, helping your DNA to keep replicating properly with accurate genetic structures, and not making genetic mutations. So alkaline water is tremendously important with increasing your auric field and keeping it at a high level. Also, distilled water. I want to just touch on that just for just a second. Distilled versus spring water, because these different types of water. I just want to cover them for a second. Distilled water is very good for cleaning the cellular walls. It's very good for cleaning your molecular structure and your biochemistry. It's not really for the conductivity of your auric field. Let me stress that. Distilled water is not for the conductivity of your auric field. It's for the cleansing of your biomechanism. That's why you put it in your irons to clean out the irons and that sort of thing, because that's what it's really good for. Spring water is has this thing about being so, you know, kind of holier than thou and the golden chalice of water. But spring water is really actually kind of dirty, actually, and they really sell it cheaply because it's just coming from a source where there's a water source. It doesn't necessarily have to be a good spring. It could just be any type of spring. So that's not really all that great of a thing to drink spring water per se. Much prefer alkaline water for energy work. 8.8 at least. If you can get 8.8, 9.5 is really good. Some people can't tolerate it because it makes them a little too shaky with their energetic field. That's because of the acids and that sort of thing. But different subject for a different day. But 9.5 alkaline water is precisely what you want to do high level energy work and to have a very strong auric field. So again, water is wattage, and you will get your current C, your current C from the C. Your currency is a water element type thing. Comes from current. So the third thing I would say that I use a lot is crystals and energetic instruments. That could be pyramids. In my case, I use a lot of pyramids. I use scepters, crystal balls, incense. Incense works very well because it's something that was originally burning, and the smoke is a high vibrational element that's coming from this searing, this high frequency transmutation process that the flame is. The flame is a transmutator, right? The fire transmutes. It turns one element to another. So the smoke from the flame is a very high energetic offshoot of that. So when you burn incense or sage and that sort of thing, you have like little balls of energy basically spiraling, in your environment. That's why you smell it and you get this pleasant sensation. It's a very high vibrational act that's kind of going on when you burn those types of things. Um, Again, I talked about the crystals, so I'm big on crystal balls. Our energy fields around, right? And we talked about the toroid and that sort of thing. So being close to crystals in your energy field, interacting with the crystal balls or the crystal whatever that you have, maybe pendants or that sort of thing, will help to keep your rates of vibration high. So it's harder to fluctuate when you have something that's steadily at a certain rate of vibration. It keeps you grounded um, in a higher state of intuitive energies. So again, I use scepters. We talked about that in my other video, and frequencies. Music, particularly not contemporary music, of course, but um, solid frequencies, 528, 369, that sort of thing. Those resonant frequencies that are in nature that appear over and over, those are obviously great frequencies to get you in tune with natural phenomena. You don't want the distorted energy and the static that can be in these EMF fields that they try to permeate the environment with. So just even having frequencies on certain ambient meditative state frequencies will keep your frequency high, of course, as well. We talked about frequencies. Okay, creative endeavors. Anytime you use creative visualization, anytime you're, bringing something to fruition, accomplishing a goal, um, doing that sort of thing, anything that uses creative energy is going to raise your rate of vibration. It's going to increase your toroid, and you'll go from one of these lower states to a higher state. Um, Anytime you're imagining things, you have to use higher beta waves, and you can even get in alpha states, and that sort of thing. And you might even have those flashes, which you gamma. That's gamma when you see those bright flashes when you're really thinking about something and you're really motivated. I tend to see bright blue flashes when I'm really, really inspired. I have an epiphany, like they show the light bulb above the head. I literally see a bright blue flash when I get epiphanies from the universe that are always confirmed later on through some sort of other synchronicity or coincidental event or whatever that aligns with what I was already resonating with. So definitely creative endeavors, create things. It doesn't have to be about the money. Selling an item. I just gave away something this morning to a lady. She gives away a lot of food in the community and does a lot of community work, and I happen to see her. And so I gave her one of these gemstones that I made with some. It wasn't crystals; it was some nice stones that I had put in there, though, that I had painted, and it had some gold, flakes in it, that sort of thing. And so I have a lot of things like that. And she's like, "Oh my God, you could sell this, You sure?" I said, "Hey, I have a lot of stuff. Go ahead." I mean, she's doing such great work in the community out here in Berkeley. So I didn't have a problem, shooting her something like that. For what she's bringing to this reality, But create things and share it, and just pass around good energy in any way, shape, form that you can. I've given away some of my artwork in the past or sold it for way below market value just because my work is in the world now, and it made someone happy, right? And it generated, it's still working, especially if it's a pyramid. Then I know that this is going to work just energetically as a structure. So I'm very happy for the people that have bought my pyramids, for myself, that I know that I can contribute that amount of energy transmutation in their life, whether they know it or not. It's working in the corner where they sit it. So try to do something creative, and particularly use your imagination. Creative visualization will always keep you in a high state of mind because it's a form of meditation, which I'll kind of get into another meditation later on about that. Number 8 would be where am I at here? Let's see, creative endeavor. Number 5, uh, hand mudras, hatha yoga, which is body postures, that sort of thing. Um, Anytime you do these different mudras with your hands, you take an effort to do something properly energetically with your hands or your body, like hatha yoga. Um, you're always going to, of course, increase your rate of vibration by doing those sorts of things. Um, sorry, what did it's going to lead into doing like Reiki work and shamanic principles later on down the line. So, um, energetic exercises could be, as I talked about, hatha yoga. It could be running, actually, jogging. It's physical exercises that you have to get up and do, but it gets your energy circulating. It may seem, mundane or just, uh, normal activity, but it will always raise your rate of vibration. That's why your heart rate goes up and your pulse goes up and your blood pressure, so on and so forth. These are all indicative of a higher rate of activity, right? So it's always good to do energetic exercises. I do Reiki work also, and there's a preparation for that called Kinyoku Ho, actually. And Kinyoku Ho I'm gonna do a video specifically about that later on because it really needs to be done more in terms of preparatory work. It's timeless. I don't know a lot of people that do it. they just kind of go straight into their energy work without doing the prep work. But Kinyoku Ho is a great preparatory tool before you do your Reiki to go into your energetic work. And like I said, I'll do a video. Look out for that later. Kinyoku Ho. We'll cover that in extensively later. Another video. Okay. Number 6 will be alkaline, non-acidic foods. Um, Watermelon, cucumbers, anything with a high pH content. Going back to the water type thing, you want to alkalize the blood and it will raise your rate of vibration. But specifically, watermelon and cucumber together for me is the creme de la creme. You eat those two together just on a big plate, and your energy will just go through the roof. And I remember specifically the first time I really tried that with some crystal work, and I pretty much almost dropped my crystal because so much energy had shot from one side to the other in my other hand, and I wasn't really prepared for that type of conductivity. So it wasn't like electric, but just super conductive, and I wasn't expecting it. So it caught me off guard a little bit. But try to eat alkaline foods, green vegetables, green veggies, that sort of thing. And definitely you will see that your creativity and other things go up right after that in your energy work by eating non-acidic foods. Number 7, this is going to be kind of a different one that I definitely want to throw in there because people always see me. Of course, I'm wearing black every day, pretty much. I wear black because I'm into what's called conscious clothing. And for me, conscious clothing is knowing that this light spectrum is about resonance. And see, black absorbs all of the color spectrum. It absorbs all the light waves. And so I can go into some other stuff about how black is, for the judges and the authority figures and all that sort of thing, just on a Masonic level. But just on a purely color spectrum level, black absorbs all the other colors. I work with all the frequencies. So therefore, for me as a spiritual thing, then this is why I always wear black, because I'm always resonating with all the spectrums, and I want to uh, be solid. I'm grounded when I wear black. And it's definitely a spiritual expression for me. It's not just I'm gonna wear blue tomorrow and that sort of thing. And there's times, of course, I'll go to LA or somewhere else, and whatever. I might throw a baseball cap and go to a ball game or something, whatever. If I don't want to like draw attention or whatever, that sort of thing. But as a practice, you know, I believe in what's called conscious clothing and being aware of the colors that you're radiating. I wear black and gold primarily, and the gold is for the chakra, the high chakra, above the head. And we all know what gold symbolizes in spirituality. So between black and gold, then you get the Egyptian things and that sort of thing, the Kaaba in Mecca, in Mecca, in I don't know what country that is, Saudi Arabia, I guess. It's black and gold for a reason. Your Bibles are black and gold for a reason. Then when I wear black and gold, people are like, "Oh, he's always wearing black and gold." It's like because I'm really resonating with the frequencies to keep my energetic field, solid. So when I do wear a different color, I can feel that. I feel it when I put on a different color. It's like now my whole aura changes a different color, and I resonate with that. And I would like to stay with that for a while, feel what that feels like, right? Not just have a bunch of colors all random and scrambled, that kind of thing, and just to have some polarity to work from. Okay, so for me, I would add that into what helps raise my rate of vibration and keep my aura vibrating at a high rate of vibration is wearing black every day, or wearing something religiously and spiritually to keep your consciousness at a high state of vibration. The number 8 is going to be grounding with the earth, trees, and putting your feet in water, and just getting the rubber from up under your feet. Some kind of way you have to touch the surface of this planet. I have my scepter, and sometimes I'll walk by the tree in front of the house and I'll touch the tree because the tree is grounded in the earth, and I can touch it with the scepter, which is in my hand, and then I have a direct current to the earth, and I'm grounded just in that split second. If I had they have a face spectrometer kind of thing that shows your facial temperatures and that sort of thing. if I had a picture of that, it would show the difference before I touched the tree and after I touched the tree. You saw the blue and purple, like there's just, a little bit of, and actually in this case, you want more heat. So it's a little inverted in this particular study, right? If I want to show my radiance, then I don't want the bluer colors on that spectrum for body heat. I want the more yellow and red because it shows that I'm warming from, having conductivity in my skin, that sort of thing. So they have those types of cameras that can show how your body chemistry like picks up, the heat picks up by you being grounded into the earth. And it's way more healthy for your cellular regeneration and so on and so forth, um, so again, I always stress that grounding with the earth, hugging a tree, touching a tree, putting your hand on the tree, barefoot, especially if you can go to a big park or something, like they have it there by USC. They got these huge trees I used to go to by USC, and the roots were just humongous. And I would just take my shoes and socks off and just put my feet on the bare roots of the tree. And you could just feel the current of the earth going up and down into the tree, and back into the earth. And it's just a tremendous experience when you can tune in and harmonize with that type of unified field. Just bringing my notes back up here. Kind of keep fading out on me here. But that's what I used to do. I used to go by the big trees at USC over there by the train station and ground my feet every now and then against one particular tree that was very wise and, gave me permission to do it because, you have to talk to the Native Americans and get those traditions down too, because trees don't just communicate with you right away. You got to familiarize yourself with a tree, go see it, go visit it every day, or at least, visit, consistently, right? And it gets to know your energy, and then eventually you get profound energetic, interactions with the tree, to start to reveal things to you like impulses. You get these bursts of energy. You just like get a vision or something, or some type of knowledge or something that's clearly a form of wisdom, So definitely grounding with trees and putting your feet in water. And the reason why that's important, going back to the water, if you go to the oceans, go to the beach and put your feet in water, it has salt water, right? And salt water will cleanse you out the same way they sell these feet purifier things. What do? You put salt and certain things in the water, right? And then they run an electric current through it, and then all of a sudden your feet start detoxifying and the water gets brown and so on and so forth, and then you feel like $1,000,000. Well, that's precisely what's going on, because the salt water are crystals. Then you got the water and the life forms in the ocean and so on and so forth, the earth's energy. So it's a very diamagnetic force is drawing all the negative energy and compounds and stuff out of your body, and will cleanse you and definitely raise your rate of vibration. So that's number 8 there, grounding with the earth, with the water, the trees, and so on and so forth. Number 9, I call it environmental osmosis. Environmental osmosis is take a trip, take a vacation, get out your normal vibration, vibrational spaces, same people, same house, same room, so on and so forth. You got to go out and be around trees, be around animals, be around just a whole new set of frequencies, right? We used to go fishing a lot when I was a little kid, and I used to remember how I used to feel when I used to go to distant places where we were in a boat. We'd go on a lake, like Lake Senatone, and you could find little cracks and crevices where, there's nothing, right? There's just trees, and there's mud and, stones or something, and just water, and just go in that little cul-de-sac and anchor down and maybe go to the shore and just be a human on the earth, you know no buildings by, no other people, no music, no cars passing by. You're just in literal nature. There's water in front of you, there's trees behind you, there's no buildings, just the lake and the boat, and just the sounds of nature. It's a very purifying thing that will definitely raise and purify your rate of vibration. So that's called environmental osmosis. That's what I call it, environmental osmosis. Get out and just be in a cleansing environment externally. And then my 10th and final thing is a very, very powerful exercise that comes from the Taoist tradition, and it's called the inner smile. meditation. The inner smile meditation is when you go to your solar plexus. It's right by your belly button, right in the middle there, by your stomach, your gut. That's your gut, plexus, gut chakra, and you focus your energy there, and you smile. You visualize a smiley face. You visualize gratitude. You visualize contentment. You visualize, just being. You disassociate and disattach from everything and just smile and just be from your solar plexus. And that's the third chakra on the way up from the bottom. Um, if they call it the golden sun or something like that, I believe in the Chinese Taoist tradition. It's a super duper energetically charged chakra. It's one of the most charged up chakras in the body, the solar plexus. That's why it resonates with the tiger's eye crystal, the eye of the tiger. Your courage and your will and all that sort of thing is all associated with the solar plexus chakra. um, and so you want to just visualize a smile at that particular chakra. It's called the inner smile meditation, and it's definitely will raise your rate of vibration tremendously, because you're going straight to your battery and you're sending in that positive energy. That smile to yourself, to the universe. Nothing else is needed. There's not a reason why you're smiling. There's no reason why you're smiling. You're smiling because you can, and that your primary vibration at that chakra. So that's number 10. That was the last thing on my list for raising your rate of vibration. So I think I pretty much covered everything. The other video that I did about toroidal fields and that sort of thing, I think kind of covered the other things I needed to cover. If people are not that familiar with the chakras of the toroidal field or the aura, um, um, there's also proof about this, like with the Kirlian photography. If you want to do research on Kirlian photography, it gets into the photographing of living and dead things, and it shows how the living organisms have this light around them that you can actually take a photograph of, and once they're deceased, they don't have this light that emanates from the same shell anymore. It could be leaves and other things that were living once, living and not living anymore. So I highly recommend you look up Kirlian photography. And also, I have a picture that was taken with a camera. I forgot the name of the system. I believe it's New Vision, I believe, or something. I'm gonna have to look it up for you guys. But they have cameras that can take pictures of electromagnetic spectrums. And like myself, I have actually some pictures, like I'm talking about, of myself meditating, and you can see physically on the camera, on the film, how my meditative states were able to change the energetic environment that was around me, uh, unequivocally. And those pictures were taken, some of those pictures were taken way back in 2008. I had some more recently taken a couple of years ago in Van Nuys, that showed my aura in perfect purple that you see on this spectrum here. My whole aura was purple with some blue, and then I had a little white kind of halo kind of thing. He even asked me about it. He's like, how do you have this white halo thing above your head? You know, and I got into my relationship with, the Archangel Uriel and his many messages I've received. I'll make a video about that as well. You have to know who your guardians are and the different higher beings and entities that try to reach out and communicate with you. I had been getting a lot of messages about Uriel for years and didn't research exactly who that was. And now I know specifically who Uriel is, and his many ways that he communicates with different people under his specific lineage of spiritual autonomy, or whatever, however you want to look at that. But they are real. There are archangels and that sort of thing. I'm not into making you believe anything that I have to say. So, take that with a grain of salt, what you will. But I do have the photograph. So I do have the picture that, baffled him and the other people that were there at the conference. This showed my aura was at a very high rate of vibration. It was all purple and blue, and I was resonating white light also at the top of my head. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you watched this to the end, and definitely you're a seeker of knowledge, and I'm honored to have been the person that shared some of this knowledge with you that you may have not been already familiar with. So again, thank you guys so much. And this video was dedicated to Andrew J. Wheaton. Also, by the way, he's a great friend of mine on Facebook, and he was the one that kind of asked me, to kind of elaborate on different ways to charge up and energize your auric or toroidal field. So shout out to you, Andrew J. Wheaton. You're a great guy, and you've been there for me a few times in the past, as we know. So for now, that'll do it for today. But thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next video.